The flavors seem to all be concentrated, and then something flicks out of it and it gives you a little tinge on the tongue. That's very interesting. Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. Today's journey, we're leaving Scotland and we're going to head over to Japan, and we're going to start a whole new Monday series exploring Japanese whiskey. Today we're starting out with Toki, Japanese whiskey. This is a blended whiskey. The majority of the blend is coming out of the Haikashu distillery. This is coming in at 43% ABV. I do believe it is colored and chill filtered. This is a 750 milliliter bottle, and I paid around $39 for this in Phoenix, Arizona. This does not have an age statement, but I do believe the blend is somewhere around 50-50. 50% malt, 50% grain. Let's go ahead and pour this, nose it, taste it, talk about it, and then at the end, let's go ahead and give it a score. Now, taking a look at this, I'm surprised that the information that I've found said that this is added color. It does have a light gold color, but maybe it does have some coloration in it, the E150. If you guys know any different, let me know down in the comments below. Let's get to nosing on this. My immediate reaction is sweet, and it's a fruit sweet. So let's go ahead and try to figure out what kind of fruit this is. Do get a little bit of green apple, a little bit of grape, more of a candied green apple. I'm getting a little bit of vanilla out of this as well, but for the most part, it's a very light colored fruit aroma that I'm getting. Candied green apple, maybe a little bit of pineapple, vanilla's in the background there. Let's go and get that first sip out of the way. So that's pretty interesting. I think there's going to be a common theme with Japanese whiskey. They are full of flavor directly on the arrival, not much development after that. But the longer that it sits, you get a puff of smoke, or you get a puff of caramel, or a puff of vanilla. The flavors seem to all be concentrated, and then something flicks out of it and it gives you a little tinge on the tongue. That's very interesting. The finish is not very long at all. It's already gone. Let's get that second sip going. Right as I was getting that second sip out of the way, there was a little breath of smoke. I don't know if there's any peated whiskey in this or not. I would imagine there could be, but I'm not exactly positive. And that second sip, a little bit more of the ABV seems to be coming through. Nice warmth in the chest. I wouldn't call it hot. The vanilla and the fruit are still there. Pineapple-y, green apple, and maybe a touch of honey. And again, that breath or puff of smoke is there. Maybe it's my imagination, but I do think right now at this moment of the review, I think I'm getting smoke on here. I've been hitting the peated whiskeys pretty heavily the last month or so maybe I just have peat on my brain. Let's do a third sip and then add the water and talk a little bit about Suntory. Yeah, that's just a concentrated sweetness right up front. Develops a little bit here and there. I wouldn't say that it's sharp, but every once in a while you do get those little aspects of other notes. Not a whole lot of water. Let this sit for a little bit, see if it does anything. So Toki was released back in 2016, so it hasn't really been around that long as far as an expression goes relative to the age of Suntory. Like I had mentioned, this is a blend of malt and grain. The majority of the blend is coming from Haikashu, then we have Yamazaki, and then the other part of it is the Cheetah Distillery. So there is that 50-50 grain to malt ratio as far as the research that I've done. The whiskey's aged in American white oak and Spanish oak, and the founder of Suntory, Shinjiro Tori, I don't know how to pronounce that name correctly, Shinjiro Tori. He also had a partner, Masataka Takasuru, but I'm going to get to Takasuru later on in some of my reviews, but I want to focus in on Shinjiro Tori right now. He started the Yamazaki distillery back in 1923. He did partner up with Takasuru. They created their original single malt that didn't go over very well. It was a little bit peated. I think that was influenced on Masataka Takasuru's side. They parted ways. Tori went on to build other distilleries in Japan. And as I go through my series of Japanese whiskey, I will be getting into the history of Japanese whiskey, talking a little bit about Masataka Takasuru, the relationship he had with Shinjiro Tori, and how they went their separate ways. Let's go ahead and see what the water's done to this. Japanese whiskey to me is very, very delicate, and I don't think water is going to help it very much. I think it'll break it down. There's very subtle flavors to begin with, and I think adding the water isn't going to do it any favors. Immediately on the nose, everything seems to have gone down maybe 2 or 3 notches. I still get a sweetness, but I get more ethanol than sweet. The ethanol has overpowered the subtleties of this. And not that 43% is very much, but what is there is now in the background. give it a taste. Yeah, just as I suspected, don't add water to this. Well, I'm not telling you what to do. Obviously, try to add water to it. Everyone's palate is a little bit different. Knowing where I'm at with this individual whiskey, I would not add water to it if I'm going to have it again. It's more just ethanol in my mouth right now. The fruit notes that I was getting without water are now completely disappeared. I don't really get much of anything. Let's get another sip going. Yeah, this is a very non-offensive whiskey tasting whiskey, if that makes sense. If somebody wanted to dip their toe into whiskey, maybe start with a Japanese blend. Like I had just mentioned, they're intensely sweet flavored, or at least this one, intensely sweet flavored to begin with. Not very complex, not a whole lot of ethanol on there, but there are a lot of pleasantries in this. So maybe recommend this. Maybe I would recommend this to somebody just wanting to try to get into the whiskey scene. And as you can tell, this is almost gone. So let me go ahead and finish this up, get that last sip in, and then we'll go ahead and give this a score. Non-offensive, very crisp, nice sweet flavors to it. Doesn't unfold and develop into anything more other than those light fruits. Tolerable ABV, not a whole lot of burn going on. Don't have to really think much about it. My scoring system is out of 5 stars. So let's go ahead and give this one a solid 3. There's nothing wrong with a 3, nothing spectacular. This is a straight down the middle introductory whiskey, not very thrilling, but definitely has that light fruit flavor. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you think you're going to be interested in listening to me ramble on for Japanese whiskeys for the next 10 weeks, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? If you know anybody that's in the whiskey world that might get enjoyment out of this, go ahead and share it with them. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any experience with Japanese whiskey and what it is. What do you guys think of it? Like the video if you're so inclined. And with all that, that's where I'm going to leave it. Enjoy your journey. I don't have any more. Enjoy your journey. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.